You are doing something that has to be one of the most challenging things in these times, and that's you've started your own label. What was the
Right.
reason that you did it, and what are the biggest challenges in doing that in today's crazy world?
Well, the reason I started it up was after I did my first album, A New Day, I had all of this knowledge. And they tell you when you do an album as a independent musician, you should be attached to a label. So I was advised to put a name into the label slot. From there, with all of the knowledge that I had gained from doing that session, my friends and some people would just gravitate toward me and say, well, how do you do this, how did you do that, how did you so I found myself over and over again explaining the process and kind of walking people through. Simultaneously, I had an infatuation with being inside the studio and producing physically. So when I put those two things together, I was like, that name that I created for my album, I should really do this for real because musicians need help with this. And when you are trying to do something as big as make a record, if you miss one step, you pay for it later. Like if you don't plan for promotion, if you forget, if you do the artwork and it doesn't look a certain way, it might come back to you just in sales. Someone might not be able to read your name, or you didn't use the right picture, or maybe the sonically it doesn't sound right. Like it sounds right to you, but you didn't have someone proofread it. You didn't, and then you didn't save up for the promotion. So now you're sitting with a whole box or several boxes of these albums that you can't sell. No one knows about them. You give them out to your friends and your family, but what? And I'm like, that's such a waste. And so instead of musicians and artists just waiting for larger labels to come around and hand them out a bonus, I was like, we'll be waiting forever. Um, and we need to do this now. All a recording is documentation of where you are currently. I mean, some people are more advanced than others, but really, I mean, anyone can sit down and make a recording if they've been practicing and they have something to say, they have an idea. And I found that there were so many people walking around, so many musicians walking around just wanting to do it, but all of that stuff that I just said and more stops them. It just seems so big. It's like this big monster. And I was like, there needs to be more of, because I know that back in the day, record labels would find artists and they would help develop them to get to the point to make the record. Nowadays, it's almost like your record has to be done, and you kind of like pitch that to the label, and then they may actually change the name into their name, issue it in their name, or they'll do the next one for the artist. But that development never goes away. We need people to help us to hone in on our skills, to help take care of us while we're doing that, and to teach us how to take care of ourselves while we're trying to build up ourselves and document. I'm sure when John Coltrane did his first album, he wasn't all together, but the talent was there. But that's not everything. So with Hot Tone Music, what we try to do is support our artists. If they come and they show signs of great talent, we make a space for them and we teach them how to take care of themselves in this crazy world, and then present a platform for which they can get exposed, get exposure through publicity and marketing, but with the new skills that they have, or adding to whatever it is that they originally had. One thing that I try to make sure not to do is to steer them in a direction that's not their voice. So basically my motto is to like enhance what they already have and just add on to that for what they need.